From the Salem Mercury, 21st of June, 1864. Lyceum presentation shocks city. Science and faith mocked by mad metaphysician. Salem's Lyceum Hall played host to a disturbing spectacle last Sunday evening. A so-called Dr. Abram, seemingly inspired by the fictions of Mary Shelley, enacted a grotesque shadow play of alleged reanimation, inciting a civil disturbance and causing several injuries. The event was promoted over the course of the preceding month as a demonstration of Dr. Abram's new theory of azothic energy. The announcements, which promised in vague terms a discovery of monumental import, captured the curiosity of the local community, and the excitement rapidly spread across the Commonwealth. The Lyceum was therefore beyond its full capacity on the night of the event. The doctor began his performance by introducing the ostentatious array of electrical and phosphorescent devices on the stage and describing their roles in harnessing azothic energies. He explained that he was channeling celestial entities to help him achieve his miracle, apparently not content to employ the aid of mere mortal spirits, as John Murray Spear had done when conjuring his mechanical messiah a decade ago in Lynn. Activating his devices in a dramatic light show, he appeared to transform several individual piles of what he claimed were human remains into his creation, Ishmael, portrayed by a hulking and grotesque actor in elaborate grease paint. This admittedly impressive act of stage magic was met with a mixture of horror and amazement from the audience. Some in attendance, seeking to reveal the deception, charged the stage and began to disassemble the devices and accost the purported monster. The actor responded violently to this, and several of the devices were damaged in the ensuing melee, unleashing electrical energies upon the audience and upon Dr. Abrams himself. Gathering up the senseless form of the doctor, Ishmael then forced his way out of the hall and escaped. The perpetrators have not been located or indeed identified. No prior record of a Dr. Abram, or of anyone fitting the man's description, could be uncovered by this journal, nor any mention of an individual fitting the highly unusual description of the actor Ishmael. The Lyceum Association and the Salem Athenaeum, which co-sponsored the presentation, have repudiated the doctor and his works. But sadly, these institutions, shrines of enlightenment, learning, and inspiration, have been sullied by their association with these events.
In the decades and centuries since its great tragedy, the city of Salem, Massachusetts has become a sanctuary for the strange, the unusual, and yes, the supernatural. Werewolves, vampires, fairies, mages, and other more esoteric things now walk the streets in relative safety. And when the mortal population gets too curious, they do what any community would do. They form a committee. Welcome to The Chimera, a role-playing adventure podcast. Our campaign this season is called Gallows Hill, and it takes place in our version of the World of Darkness, the setting that encompasses Vampire the Masquerade and all its sibling products. I'm Vin LeBate, and I play 8-Ball, a vampire with mental health issues and an assortment of fake IDs, and joining me this season are...
I'm Braden Lamb, and I play Mew, a mummy cat who's into urban planning and sacred geometry.
I'm Jeffrey Bard, and I play Jack Foxglove, a werewolf shaman who coaches the Salem High School football team, the Salem High Witches.
I'm Ethan Bremner, and I play Mother McCree, an immortal Irish witch and American Civil War veteran.
I'm Kacey Smith, and I play Truly Reynard, an animalistic fairy running from her past, sometimes literally.
And I'm Kelly Weissman Asbruce Jackson, the storyteller.
Now, let's get started.
So, when last we left off, the group we're calling Team Escalation had just successfully fought Ishmael to a standstill, and he sort of spontaneously announced that he was ready to surrender to the abnormal courts, which wasn't exactly what you were necessarily looking for, but is a semi-positive outcome, or at least a better than neutral outcome. Now, we did have one sort of hanging plot thread, which was the soft rage that Coach is currently feeling. And we figured out how that's going to work systemically, right? Went through and reviewed and clarified the rules. So if I understand correctly, basically, when Coach is in this state and it's time for him to stop killing things, his go-to move is going to be like walk away, like kind of walk it off, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go find a closet to lock myself in, beat up on some pillows, and then I should be good.
I mean, you got a whole sewer system here, so it's not like you're hurting for space to be alone in.
Yeah.
You just beat up on some giant rat spirits.
Do you have like a Kong or something in your pocket that you can like...
Just go after. Mm-hmm. Just throw it down the hallway and I'll go chase it.
No, like one of those big beehive-shaped ones.
Yeah, it's got like peanut butter inside.
Yeah. Oh, God, no. Someone should carry a tennis ball.
Yeah.
Just be like, Coach.
Go long.
All right, so Coach is off doing that. He's going to cool out for a minute, come back less bent on wanton destruction. Meanwhile, the other hanging plot thread, obviously this is important, was whether or not Amal is dead. He is not. Having a life mage on hand, even when you suffer lethal damage, is a pretty handy thing to have around. So with Mother McCree's focused attention, Amal is able to come back around. He is dazed and has had a near-death experience and is rather thrown by that, but is capable of moving under his own power and seems to know what day of the week it is and those things. So,
is this the first time that's ever happened to him?
Is this the first time that's ever happened to him? What do you think, Braden?
Yeah. Well, certainly the first time he's been hit by lightning. I'm gonna say this is the most active peril he's been in. He's been an archaeologist in some hostile territory before, where he's had to, bribe or negotiate and keep his pistol handy. But this is the most like hot situation I think he's been in.
Cool. All right. So, Ishmael has surrendered. It's just a matter now of taking him to All Hallows Hall, where the courts operate. Basically, there's always at least one court open at any given time, so you just have to get there and you'll have one of the judges to talk to.
So Mother McCree's going to let him turn himself in.
Mm-hmm.
He said he's gonna.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's what he's going to do, then I don't think we have to tie him up and bring him there. I think she's perfectly happy with just walking with him there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Even our mandate, right, is we just want him to stop making magical sigils next to the people he kills so that they don't track us down, right? There's not it's not like where, he's done anything wrong with a capital W, right? It's just more, keep your stuff on the DL, guy.
Which is actually what Mother McCree is going to start talking to him about as they're walking.
Okay, so she's doing that. You were saying something, Mew?
Oh, well, yeah, Amal was going to voice the opinion that I'm not sure. It's kind of circumstantial, isn't it? We don't know that he killed this person or put the sigils there.
I think it's safe to say he did, but we'll allow you to tell your own truth there, Ishmael.
Yeah, but Mew actually disagrees with Amal and says, you haven't been here in Salem long. You haven't crossed paths with Ishmael as McCree and I have.
Shoot, I need to look at I really, really hope this is true. When was Ishmael created?
It's late 1800s.
Late 1800s?
I believe so, yeah.
So Mother Mercury's older than him?
I think that's right. I'm pretty sure that's right.
True, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, not hugely older, but yeah, by like
a generation.
Yeah, probably about a generation.
Yeah. So yeah, she'll address him like she'll not talk down to him, but like maternally, like, son, you just need to tell us what's going on. We don't even need you to bring you to the courts, but you can't be just killing people and drawing sigils everywhere. But let's walk.
He doesn't say anything back. There are a couple of points in the conversation, particularly when Mew and Amel are talking, where he raises an eyebrow or gives a light snort. But other than that, he just walks, careful to keep his hands low in sort of a nothing to hide, clearly not making any false moves kind of way. But yeah, once you're walking towards All Hallows Hall, he's just kind of quiet about it. Now it's that whole episode, right? Exploring around the scene of the crime, and then finding that lead, and then going down in the tunnels and following. It was quite a circuitous route through the tunnels, confronting Ishmael, now bringing him back up to the street level. That's taken basically the evening, so it's just starting to be dawn when you're arriving, when you're about to get to All Hallows Hall, which is a good time to get does anybody have a phone?
Coach would have a phone.
Coach would have a phone, yes. A good time to be getting a phone call from Truly.
Okay, so, yeah, Jack's phone rings. I want to know what Jack's ringtone is, by the way.
It's just whatever the default is. He has not changed it. It's actually probably a really old cell phone. Several generations ago. He's never bothered to really update it. It works, and that's about all he cares about.
Is Coach a flip phone holdout?
I don't think it could be that old. I don't know if it would still work like that. I think he would have had to update it at some point. Mm-hmm. So he probably uses some form of a smartphone, but it's probably off-brand. It's also probably low-end model. It probably was, $50 or something like that.
Cricket, probably. Product non-placement for Cricket Wireless. Okay.
This is Jack.
Hey, Jack, it's Truly. How's it going over there with the murder mystery?
I think we've got it all figured out. We're headed to All Hallows Hall now. How about you guys?
Oh, hey, nice work. We put to bed most of the other stuff. Only thing we really didn't get too into yet was the Athenaeum. Still not sure what's going on over there, but all the rest of them are at least sorted for now. We'll see how it all shakes out.
All the rest of them? How many did you guys get to?
What was 5, I think?
Huh.
I think 4, yeah.
4? Without the Athenaeum, I guess, yeah, right, because there were 6 total.
Right.
So, yeah, 4, and then we took a peek at the Athenaeum, but didn't get too far in that one. It started to get light.
Good work, you guys. I mean, that's a lot more than we did. We only did 1.
Well, I mean, you guys had like a whole murder. We just had like this guy might have snakes next door, so it wasn't, smaller problems.
Well, good job. Well, we're at All Hallows Hall. I don't know if you guys want to meet up, or we got Ishmael with us.
Waitball had to head to bed because the sun's coming up. But yeah, I usually stay up a little bit longer when I've got an overnight shift coming up at the diner. So I might meet you guys over there. I'd like to know what was going on with, the bit where people were being murdered horribly.
Yeah, we're still not sure about that yet, but we found the guy. It was Ishmael. He's got some beef with something, so we're going to the courts.
You found the guy who was killing people, but you're not still sure if he was killing. What does that mean?
We haven't really talked about it yet. We found him. We got in a little tussle, and then he wanted to be brought to the courts, so that's what we're doing. But he's not really talking too much, so we don't know why or really why.
Okay. Yep. That's That checks out. Sure does. Okay. Why don't I meet you guys over at the hall?
Sure, we'll be in the courts.
Okay. Beep.
All right. So you'll meet up now. Did we establish how one gets into All Hallows Hall since it is in the middle of the water?
Nope. Just that everyone was there because of the meeting.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that there's probably a couple of different options, but it's definitely funnier if you have to take a little boat.
Would it be too taxing for Mother McCree to just warp us over there?
I mean, if there's a boat, why would we warp over?
That's a great attitude. Really appreciating Mother McCree setting up. So as a result, there's like a longish rowboat that with some cramming you can all fit into and set out from the dock over to this little human-made island in the middle of the water.
I'm all kind of muttering under his breath all the way. Still think warping would have been really cool.
It's a very imposing structure, this building, with its huge flat poured concrete surfaces. Going in through the main doors, heading down a couple of different hallways, past some sort of civic art, like there's a mural in, like a memorial mural for the witch trials that you pass. There's a plaque on the wall in another section with the lists of all the previous mayors of Salem. And
are there like painted portraits of the mayors?
Painted portraits? Yeah. So I think what you're doing is like so the All Hallows Hall houses the courts. It houses the office of the mayor and the mayor's residence. And there's probably an office dedicated to the Good Shepherds as well. So it's like the center of the whole of civic government. And so there's probably one wing that you pass that has the role of mayors. And if you went down that hallway, there would also be paintings of each of them. But since you are passing that plaque, I'll go ahead and just drop the list of mayors into the Slack so you have access to it in case it comes up again. But you're going to the section where the courts are. So the way the court works is that there are 5 justices, 1 Supreme Justice, and 4 Associate Justices. And one of them is always on duty at any given time. So it's the beginning of the day. So it's sort of the beginning of a turnover. So as you're getting to the courtroom, the judge actually is coming up. So it's like you're coming up from opposite directions. The person who's on duty today is Azakachia. So this is let's try this person. So Azakachia, again, coming in the opposite direction, right? So you're both coming down the hallway at the same time. This group of oddities and the associate justice who's on duty for the day shift today. Azakachia is tall, fine-featured woman she's in like a jogging outfit. Like clearly she was out for a run on her way to work. So she's like wearing yoga pants and a tank top and a sports bra. She's got her earbuds in. She's just taking them out as you're coming down the hall. She matches the general description of like a tiefling. Like she has big horns, kind of red-orange skin, eyes that are just pools of bright red with no irises or anything, pointy teeth. So she sort of jogs up down the hall and says, "Are you here for a case?"
Well, it's really up to our compatriot here who is apparently going to turn himself in for a crime we didn't accuse him of.
Ishmael looks at Mother McCree and then looks at Azakachia and says, "I wish to make an elocution before the court." She says, "All right, just give me a second. I'm sorry, I'm running a little late this morning. I'm going to get my robe on. You can give me a minute and then I'll call you in." So she goes into the court first and you're all waiting out in the hallway. Any other?
Just for clarification, I see the list here. She's a former mayor.
Yeah, actually, it's not unusual for someone who's served in the mayor's office to then go on to be to serve on the court. In fact, thinking about it, I actually hadn't noticed this until right now. Everybody who is currently one of the justices in the abnormal courts has served as a mayor before. Basically, because these are all offices that have to be elected or confirmed by the thrice yearly town meetings, the people who are capable of getting enough support to win one of those elections tend to be a pretty, similar group, right? Won once before, you're likely to be able to win again. It's not such a big pool. There's less than 200 citizens in Salem. So
Amal leans over to Coach and says under his breath, he said elocution, right? Not electrocution?
I thought he just said electrocution wrong. It's a big word.
He said elocution, says Mew.
Ishmael is very indifferent to these side conversations that go on around him. He's very stoic. He only moves when he's acting. When he's at rest, like when he's standing, he's not just standing still, he's standing completely still. There aren't incidental movements from his body.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of minutes later, she's had time to put on her vestment. It's not exactly like a conventional American court robe, but it is a black robe of sorts. So she calls you in and says, "All right, Ishmael, what do you want to say?" She doesn't seem that that attentive to it. Like, okay, this is probably been what's happening. I've just started and it's sort of being yanked around already. And he says, "These mayoral appointees attacked me in my home. I would like to press charges." She looks at the rest of you. "Is that true? Attacked him in his home?"
Mew is gonna boost his presence a little bit for this scene.
Okay.
Your Honor, acting as the Salem Sanitation Committee, we were conducting investigations into a murder with occult significance. We followed some clues, some traces from the scene of the murder to his residence, and I can confirm his soul was filthy.
His soul was filthy.
Excrementally.
Warden, may I ask your opinion of the state of my soul?
Yeah, that's, I'm trying to remember if I need to spend anything to activate that. But he activates his, night creature vision.
Yep, the thing lets him see if you're a bad dude.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a demon, so yeah, the bells go off.
No more so than I would expect.
Well, I'm glad that I didn't surprise you, but in Salem and its precincts in general, we don't attack each other in our homes. That's pretty much an accepted rule. If you were here in front of me complaining that Ishmael had come into your tomb and attacked you, you see how the shoe would be on the other foot? What am I not seeing here?
If he attacked me in my tomb, there would be no shoes left.
Your Honor, whether or not we attacked him in his home is not really relevant. We didn't arrest him either. We just were investigating, and in the process, there was a fight. I was not involved in the fight. I was not even in his apartment or his home or whatever he called that squalor under the ground. But the fact remains, we were acting under orders of Mayor Espinoza, and Ishmael is yet to account for why he was breaking the, what do we call
Masquerade.
it? The sanitation...
Masquerade.
Of the mortal...
Masquerade.
Masquerade, whatever.
Ishmael, waits for Mother McCree to speak, and then says, Archduchess, I was in my home. The feline and the lupine both crossed the threshold of my home without invitation, without cause of my having done any harm to them or any other citizen. I do not deny my involvement in the death of the conventional mortal, but that in and of itself is not a crime, and I am not responsible for those markings. They had no cause to come into my domicile and do me harm. If they have some order from the mayor, that's all fine and proper, but the mayor does not have the authority to order anyone into the home of a citizen without cause. Do you disagree? She sort of raised her hand a little bit. All right. Still my courtroom, Ishmael. Don't get pushy. Commissioners, give me something here.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious that this is at least an extension of my pack. Humans, wolf-blooded, alike, it doesn't matter. They are my pack. An attack on any one of them would be an attack on myself. I think that the court understands this, correct?
Let me see if I follow your reasoning here, Mr. Foxglove. You're saying that if anyone attacks any human in Salem, you have cause to do violence against them?
Any human that would be considered to be part of my pack, yes. I think we all remember the fight from, I think it was 76. And the outcome of that was such that pack members are pack members, regardless of whether they follow the masquerade or not.
So this person that Ishmael killed was a friend of yours?
Amal over here? Yes.
Wait a second. He looks okay for someone who was killed.
Your Honor, I made him better. But also, I want to go back to what Ishmael said before. He said we had no reason, but we did. We tracked the murder to his place of residence, and upon arrival, we found the same markings that we were there to investigate. His claim that he had nothing to do with those markings are very, very suspect to me.
Okay, so I want to make sure I'm understanding you, Mother McCree. You're saying that you suspected that he had killed some mortal with some symbols. So you broke into his house and you found more symbols, and that's why it was okay to break into his house and try to kill him.
I don't think any of that is true.
I don't believe we tried to kill him.
I was attempting to subdue him, knowing his violent history.
Let's see. Okay, the doors opened.
Archduchess, I understand that I'm a monster and not well-liked in this city.
I was on the other side of the threshold.
But
and Amal...
I do still have the rights of a citizen. He points to the sigil on his forehead.
Was killed by lightning that Ishmael shot at him.
All right, Mr. Foxglove, I'm going to stop you right there.
We were not even in the house.
Do not go near this man's house again. Am I clear?
Your Honor, I need some clarification on our mission, and should we bring the mayor in?
Sounds good. You can talk to him tonight. She gavels you out. Ishmael leaves the courtroom, whistling a jaunty tune, a sea shanty.
So, as soon as we clear the courtroom, Mother McCree goes to cuff Amal in the back of the head, stops, goes to cuff Mew in the back of the head, stops, and goes, "You damn fool. You just ruined the whole case for us."
I'm still not sure what happened.
I don't know why we ran in there and just started biting and scratching. We were just investigating a murder. Wasn't like it was a big crime.
Mew swishes his tail. I suppose I acted a bit rashly.
You think?
I was only acting upon my decree. I do try to keep it under control.
I think you both could use some little exercise in control.
But you were there. You were there for the fire, weren't you? I remember seeing you.
Yeah, I was there.
That was him. remember?
Well, yeah, but he's part of the court now. We have to obey. Are we agents of this government or not? If we're not, well, then that's fine. Then go about your merry way. But you signed on for this thing now, so we got to do what they, we got to follow the rules. But if not, well, go ahead and just start killing people randomly. It's fine.
So I'm going to say about now is when Truly shows up. She took a minute to change because her clothes were all muddy. And she's got like a McDonald's bag that she's carrying. Just kind of munching on a hash brown. And she's gotten over on the boat, and it's taken her a couple minutes to figure out where they would be located. And okay, right, well, they have this guy, and they're going to the courts. Maybe they're by the courtrooms. So she's kind of heading over, and she looks around, and it's just the three of them. And she goes, hey, what'd I miss? Where's the guy?
I think they let him go.
Oh, we didn't let him go. This is Azakachi in the background poking up. Just saying.
Oh, she's still here. Okay. He
just won his case against you because you're
bad at what we do. We get it.
He still has a standing order against him from Chief Justice Foxglove, so he's going to be held. He must have knew that when he came in.
Ah, okay. So we did figure it out.
Yes. Keep patting yourself on the back there, Luddy.
I'm just trying to figure out what just happened. Did we do our job or not? I don't think we did.
Very, very badly. Although I will say, he's being detained.
He'll have to appear before Chief Justice Foxglove tonight when he comes on duty for his shift.
Okay. But he's free to go around now, right? He's not being detained.
Oh, no. We would never let him leave of his own accord. He just won't come back. He's done that many times before.
Okay.
No, he's got to stay here until the night.
Then, Your Honor, do we have fair reason to go back to his place and investigate?
She rubs her temple a little bit, sort of up by one of the horns. I just said, stay out of his house.
Well, that's when he's there.
Guys, let's just go get some breakfast, okay? The Chief Justice is real busy. And then she kind of mouths, and you need to shut up.
All right. Are we going to go to Bell Book and Coffee?
I think unless anyone has any other preferences.
Yeah, we're going to have to sit and have a think about this.
Mew says, why is it always Bell Book and Coffee? Why do we never go to Leslie's retreat?
Because Bell Book and Coffee is where we go.
Fine.
Bell Book and Coffee seems to not have a problem with me bringing my own wares, so I prefer there.
Or firearms.
Firearms? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Mew sniffs the walking stick a little bit.
All right, so you get a booth at Bell Book and Coffee.
Okay, so did we or did we not figure out that Ishmael was responsible for that murder?
All we did was find out he was responsible for the murder. We didn't find out if he was responsible for the sigils. He claims he wasn't. I claim I saw those sigils all over his house, but either he's lying or he's being framed. Regardless, we ran in like damn fools, and we just got our arses handed to us by the magistrate.
I almost had him.
You almost had him. I almost had him. All right. Then why don't we just go back to his house? We'll check it out a little bit more thoroughly. We should have done that while we were there.
Do you need to get your ears checked?
My ears are just fine.
The magistrate just told us we can't do that. We're working for the government. Are we working against the government? Is that what you want?
How's the government going to know that we were down there?
They're not. And I agree with you that it's probably a good idea to take a look at it when who are we talking?
Ishmael?
Oh, I'm assuming everyone kind of knows who this guy is?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay. Holy shit, Ishmael?
The same.
Huh. Okay, well, murder, not shocked. I don't think you're wrong that we should go check it out, because it might give us more information as far as what's going on. But you guys got to understand, anything we find, we can't just go to the court and be like, hey, we found this in his house, right? So,
but aren't we supposed to deal with it ourselves? We are the sanitation committee.
Let me just be clear here. We're working for the government.
We're working for the mayor.
Well, we're working for the government. It was a decision at the town meeting. So we're doing all that, but we're breaking the rules to do it? It makes no sense.
I'm afraid I must agree with Mother McCree that we should adhere to the mandates of the court.
But we have a job to do.
Our job is to follow the rules.
If our job requires us to break the rules to fulfill the job, we should do the job. Otherwise, we can't do the job.
A couple of times, like, raises his finger, like, trying to butt in, stops himself because somebody else speaks. You know, he's a little bit uncertain about what to do when there's a group conversation between other supernaturals. But eventually he piped up and says, was the order... Did it involve Truly?
You're wise beyond your years, lad. It's not a bad idea. She is part of our department, and as far as I know, the judge did not say anything about you just happened to being involved in exploring the space. I think we should just go and stay on the outside and let Truly go in.
Good idea. All right.
To the sewer!
Good job, Amal.
I was half expecting another party split.
Yeah, so you can lead Truly back to where you were before. So just a reminder, and actually probably new information for Kacey. So this is like an area of the sewer where there's a false wall that pulls away like a hatch. And then inside, it's like an area where several different tunnels come together with a vaulted ceiling. Some nice but mismatched furniture, like a work table and a fancy chair. The phonograph is off by now. It was playing music earlier, but it's off. The dinner that he was in the process of making is maybe not ruined, but it's set aside for now. So yeah, this is a place where Ishmael lives in a combination of finery and squalor in kind of equal proportions.
And we're going to say right outside this door, are we not?
If there's nothing that needs me to attend inside, then yeah.
Muir looks up and blinks. Yes.
Right then. Truly. Have a look around.
No one said anything of us being in a sewer. Ugh.
Is the door down or?
You left it up unless somebody did something about it. Yeah, and it has a booby trap on it. Like, it's designed to badly harm anybody who forces that door open, but that was dismantled. It was effectively rendered inert by Coach's opening of the lock on it earlier. So yeah, you can just go in.
Okay.
So Truly, use a little kerchief to open the door. She's not touching the handle because she watched CSI once, and she heads inside to kind of poke around, see if anything in, I guess out of place would be a bad way to put it, but just sort of see what's in there and if there's anything that would provide any kind of clue for what they're looking for.
So Mother McCree's already seen the sigils around his domicile. And so she'll call into the room and tell Truly where she saw them. I actually don't know if we clarified where she saw them.
I'm not sure that I did. Yeah, basically, the place is, again, it's not super messy in the sense of like someone doesn't care about their space, but it is, there's lots of piles of books and papers and equipment and stuff in that way where things are only as organized as one person needs them to be. No more, no less. Right. So among the stacks of books and papers, there's a bunch of different stuff that has sigils like this on it. There's a couple of places where there's a piece of paper where they've been written out, and there's a couple of books that have the sigils printed on them. Looking around, this is actually a consistent theme. It's not maybe the only thing that he seems to be interested in, but this is clearly an area of interest for him, right? This is not a casual coincidence. There's also, with enough rooting around, one object that's probably of a great deal of significance, which is a large piece of bone with some of these same sigils carved on it. Let's see, who knows? Well, Mother McCree. So if Truly, you can probably just look at it and say, that's a large bone. That's probably about the extent of, I don't think that Truly has a deep forensic knowledge or anything else that's going to give her deep insight into a bone. But if you can show it to Mother McCree, a life mage is going to be able to tell you whatever you want to know about this bone.
Yeah, so she can she can just look through the scope. She's not going in the room.
Right.
She pulls out her walking stick, looks through the scope, and sees the bone clear as day.
That's a human sternum.
Sternum,
right? So like the ribs have been sort of trimmed away, and the writing is on the inside.
Is it fresh?
The writing?
No.
Is it sternum? Yes. I'd say you can tell that this there was a living being surrounding this sternum within the last week or two.
So it's likely the murder victim.
The timeline would match for that, yes.
And these sigils, Mother McCree will not recognize, will not be able to, like, discern what they mean, but do they look like the ones in the dossier we were handed?
Yep. All this stuff seems to match up. Can you maybe like an intelligence plus occult roll for me, Mother McCree?
1 success.
Yeah. It's familiar to you, too. You feel like if you've seen these somewhere before, this has come up before. Like maybe one of the other Sistren would recognize this. Would be your guess.
Mother McCree is not book smart by any means. So,
or someone at the Athenaeum?
Sure. That's also a perfectly valid place to check. Yeah.
So, cross-referencing them with the dossier, she's going to try to sketch out any other sigils that aren't in the dossier, like weren't at the murder site, but anything extra.
Sure.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just say Truly's going to take pictures of the sternum and the sigils in particular, and also any others that, like, this book was open to this one, or this seemed to be earmarked, or just anything that, if there seems to be particular interest that has been shown, she's going to take pictures of those as well.
You can use your camera phone. You're probably not going to photograph every page in a book, but you can get like the covers of all the books. You can get the handwritten pages. You can get the bone. You can get the highlights. Certainly, that's not hard.
Dearie, if you're going to take a daguerreotype photo of one of those, please don't show it to the magistrate.
I'm so glad you told me that. I was absolutely my plan. Thanks, Mother McCree. We done here? I think we're done here.
Hang on. Does anybody want to travel to the Shadow with me?
What's your plan?
Just gonna see if there's any spirits hanging around that we could ask some questions to.
As far as I understand, that's all fine, but we also still can't enter his domicile in the Shadow either.
Who said that? To me, if Truly can go in the living room or in here, then I think I should be able to go in there in the Shadow. That's what we call a technicality, right? Like that's what we're playing with right now.
I'm pretty sure these laws are.
And if one technicality is good enough for this group, then I think another one would be good too.
Well, Truly's not here under a technicality. She's simply here on her own. However, she's
part of the sanitation committee, man.
I just, Kelly, can I check to see if Mother McCree has a background in politics? Like she knows politics.
Yep.
Can I guess roll to see? It's not going to be a very good roll. Can I roll to see if she would know whether the law, test her legal knowledge, whether a edict that someone can't enter your property carries over to the Umbra or not?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same.
Sure. So basically, we're testing her knowledge of Salem law.
Yeah.
Right. What does the law look like in Salem? Sure. And Braden, you indicated you want to do that too.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be, I'm going to say intelligence plus academics.
Academics.
Ooh, okay.
I was going to go with politics.
Yeah, I've got.
Okay.
Oh, politics. No, the politics fine. I'm comfortable with that roll. That makes sense.
Oh, wow. 3 successes.
1.
On 2 dice.
1. Okay, the answer is there is definitely a law in the city of Salem saying that your residence, which is a protected term, is basically Veiled Salem effectively has a home is castle, stand your ground kind of law.
Right.
That applies both in the Tellurian and in the Umbra, so both in the regular world and in the Shadow.
Yeah.
To avoid exactly this sort of mishigas. That's
so
top of the list of supernatural shenanigans you want to prevent people from being able to cheat around on.
Mother McCree sighs and scolds Jack by saying exactly that the law carries over and there's no technicality here. And again, you're welcome to do all this stuff, but leave me out of it and don't expect that we can use anything we learn there.
I don't think that we're addressing this problem the same way, or the same way that it's been intended to. I don't think that we're cops. We're trying to intimidate people into following the edicts set out by the council.
You seem to think we're more important than cops. I believe we are significantly less important than cops. How many sanitation commissions do you know that can barge into people's homes? A lot of stop toilets, are there?
Yeah, the shepherds would probably disagree with you. But in any case, let's see what's in the shadow.
I mean, again, as long as you don't go in, it doesn't matter. But
Jack's just going to go over to the water and take a look, or the sewer water, and take a look.
Yeah, this is like one step down from super urban, because you're in the sewers, and that gives you a... So I don't have the umbral chart in front of me.
For me, it's going to be 3 dice base plus whatever bonus is. So +2 from reflection.
+2 from reflection. Yep.
Well, I'll give me 2 successes.
Mew, the previous time we were here, had his Words of Dead Hunger, like Ghost Vision, active for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So he would have been able to see whether there was anything present, but I don't know if he would have registered them at the time.
Yeah, there wasn't anything big and obvious when you were here before.
Okay.
So you got 2 successes, is that right, Jeff?
Yep.
Okay. So what does it look like when Coach steps into the shadow?
Let's see. So when he often tries to find a reflection to see into the shadow, but he often can catch glimpses, like even without that. But when he does catch the shadow, all of his renown tattoos kind of flare up silver, and then they sort of glow and kind of burn across his body until there's nothing left of him in whichever place that he's at. So in the Tellurian, it'll like consume him in the Tellurian and then kind of reconstitute himself in the shadow, and then vice versa when he's coming back.
What do these tattoos look like?
They're, I mean, without a better way of describing it, like relatively tribal in nature. They were given to him like with kind of magical claws. So they're kind of clawed into his body as he earned them. They're symmetrical across his body. So if he's got one on his left shoulder, there's one on his right shoulder. And same across his face and across his back. He doesn't have any on his legs yet, or across his torso, just the ones on his arms and the ones on his face.
Cool.
So this is the only condition under which they're visible, right?
Right.
They're not just normally walking around visible.
Yeah, you can't see them normally in the Tellurian. You can, if he pops them, he can pop them as a sort of intimidation roll. And then also, they're just always visible in the shadow.
Got it. So on the other side, it's the Umber, right? So it's like funhouse mirror version of wherever you're in. So you're still in a tunnel. It's somehow even darker and spookier than being in a sewer tunnel in the regular world is. And yeah.
Sort of a sewer tunnel in a Tim Burton movie?
There you go. Sewer tunnel in a Tim Burton movie. It's not... Stuff doesn't carry over in the same way. So there's not like furniture looking into the living space or anything like that. So you're over here to look for a spirit or something?
Just see if any spirits that are hanging around, give a chat to, and see if there's any sort of resonance between the sigils in the shadow, like if they're strong enough to carry over.
Coach specifically has a gift here. Is he using that?
Yes.
Okay. So using the gift is gonna like call a nearby spirit. So there's not like a spirit who's just sitting here, right? But there's a spirit nearby in the area who's gonna come down one of the tunnels. Let's say, it's probably like a big 4-headed rat kind of spirit, like size of a medium dog, but with a rat with 4 heads, sort of gnawing on something obscure in its paws with one of its heads. What is it you want?
Rats. Are you familiar with Ishmael?
The piecemeal man, the jigsaw puzzle.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you tell me what he's been doing here with these sigils? He's been using a magic that may or may not be touching you. I just want to know if it does.
He reads, listens to noises from the machine, speaks languages brighter than humans speak, louder. I do not like.
You don't like it?
No.
Do any of the spirits like it?
No, we give him a wide berth because of it.
I see. Is there anything else I should know here, Rat? Anything you're keeping from me?
Two of the heads sort of perk up, and the rat's, I mean, it's up in its hind legs at the moment, so it's sort of effectively shoulders kind of go back and in a look of indignation. Still, one of those heads is just going to town on this thing that it's eating. But like just really affronted, like, I follow the law. I come when I'm called. Tell you the truth. I should not be insulted this way.
Coach flares his tattoos a little bit. Know your place, Rat. And kind of puffs up and goes, just kind of tries to put him in his place.
Oh, yeah, but that works. So it sort of freezes and all the heads go down, including the one that was gnawing on something. It drops a little piece of umbral detritus that it was chewing on and hops away. Now it's down on all fours and it's cowed. Right? It's definitely intimidated by the Arathan in front of it.
Then you've done your work good. Be on your way, Rat.
Reaches out very tentatively with a paw and snatches up the food and then scurries away.
Okay. Anything else look interesting here? I'm going to actually, let me double check my character sheet. I'm going to use Scent the Unnatural and just see if there's any like spell effects here in this area.
So Scent the Unnatural just gives him, it's just basically magic sense, right?
Yeah, it's like if I use Detect Magic.
Okay. Is he still following, playing around the rules about like not actually going in the door?
Not really.
Okay.
No, he's not treating anything as being like sacrosanct right now.
Okay. So, setting the unnatural and sort of walking around a little bit, there's no active spell effect here. There's no like evidence of a direct sort of enchantment or persistent effect. There are no resident spirits, none of those sort of things that would allow you to have a planned rule or magical structure, right?
Okay.
But there is residual energy, and it's kind of localized inside of Ishmael's living space, sort of towards the center of the room. If you're going to try and map this location in the space in the Umbra versus the space in the Tellurian, it's sort of around where his stacks of papers and books are, right? Kind of that section.
Okay.
And it's basically like when you hit it, when you're sort of pacing the room and kind of get to that point, it's really like the rat described. It's like you were listening to something on headphones and you got a really nasty bit of feedback. Okay. Or you were smelling, you were smelling the scent of something and someone put ammonia under your nose, right? It's strong. It's unpleasant, not in a like particular, like, not like a garbage is unpleasant, but in the sense of like, it's like just
sharp.
It's sharp and it's just too pronounced.
Okay.
But it's just a residual energy. There's not evidence of there being something, like it doesn't seem to have a consequence. It's like, there used to be a bunch of chemicals sitting here and they cleaned out the chemicals and it still smells, right? Like that's the situation.
Okay. Hang on, let me double check that. Can I take a roll here? What the roll would allow me to do on an exceptional success is to get that specific scent and be able to identify it later. Is that cool?
Yeah. So we're just rolling to see if you can hit exceptional.
Right.
Yep. Good.
So that's going to be wits plus occult plus purity. So that is 7 dice. 8 dice. No, I got 3 successes.
Okay. But it is, I mean, this is very distinctive.
Okay.
So you still have a pretty good shot at least noticing, like, Jesus is maybe not the same thing, but the same order of thing. Right.
Okay. All right. Then I will, having done all that, go back to the sewer water and try to bring myself back to the Tellurian.
It's daytime, actually, so you can get a bonus for that. So you just, transfer back. Oh, one other thing I want to highlight. Coach has been around the block.
Yeah.
He's seen a bunch of stuff. If it was spirit magic, he would recognize it.
Okay.
If it was vampire or magecraft, or maybe even fairy stuff, he would probably recognize it. This is not familiar.
Okay, it's super alien.
Yeah,
But the foxgloves know it too. Okay.
But the again, he remembers seeing symbols like this at his uncle's place. That's about as far as it goes.
Okay. All right. Then come on back.
So when he's in the Umbra, he just kind of like fades out of view from us and then reappears? Is that how that works?
Yeah, I mean, he does literally, he's not there anymore. So, right. Yes.
So I have no way of knowing whether he went in or not.
Nope.
Okay.
There might be something complex magic-y you could do if you really wanted to figure it out. But offhand, You're not going to know.
No. Out of sight, out of mind.
That's what I was banking on.
I keep saying the same thing. If you choose to break the rules, that's fine. But you need to know that you're doing it.
I'm really enjoying the Russian nesting doll of different values about legalities with this team.
Well, did you get what you needed?
I don't know. This is not something that the spirits know, and it's not something the spirits like. And that's strange because spirits like power, and spirits are attracted to power. But the spirits don't like this. I don't know if we need to figure out what this is, but my uncle might have a better idea than the spirits do.
Well, our job is to investigate this and to make sure that it's not tipping off the mortal authorities. Now that they've got him and they're going to prosecute him for other things, it's just good to keep it under our hat as far as I'm concerned. We know it. We're looking out for it. If you'd like to investigate it further, that's fine, but I don't think it's part of our job.
Keeping this knowledge secret may allow us to stay a step ahead of any further misfortune.
It also would allow us to plausibly deny that we were ever here again.
Ever where again?
Exactly.
I think if we're going to keep this tucked quiet, but even if we're not, I'd like to know what we're dealing with here. I mean, I wasn't there, but I know the stories about this guy. So he makes me a little nervous. We've got weird things that are freaking out spirits. We've got murders and, sigils carved into bone that nobody recognizes. I don't know what we're dealing with if we're going to sit on this. I don't want to find out 3 months down the line that this was the start of something that if we had brought it to the council earlier, we could have, helped some of our people.
All right, then let's go see my uncle.
I remember when he was a lad.
Should we not try the Athenaeum? We have business there anyway.
Well, I think we should start with the sigils that we know and recognize and go from there.
And the allies that we have better trust will keep quiet if we ask them.
Mother McCree just points to her nose.
Very well. I don't trust that owl woman at the Athenaeum anyway.
She's a hoot.
Mother McCree almost smiles at that and then immediately sours up again.
Amal says, the things she knows would make your head spin.
It doesn't stop, does it?
Oof. All right, so you want to go see Fen Foxglove? That's the plan?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I don't know if there's I don't know how formal this family is. That's one thing I should have asked you.
And this is another former mayor, isn't it, Fenton?
Yeah.
Fen Foxglove is a former mayor and the current Chief Justice of the city of Salem.
Oh.
He is the head of the Foxglove family.
And he's the one that's going to be trying Ishmael tonight.
Yep.
Huh.
And just for clarification again, what is Ishmael being tried for?
That didn't get unpacked when you were in court. Just that he has a standing order against him from the Chief Justice.
Okay.
So you have a couple of ways of approaching this. One would be to wait until nightfall, and those of you who have any need for sleep are probably feeling it at this point.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know where he'll be at that point.
I guess that's totally fine. I would just want to give him a heads up. Like, I don't want to ambush him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's like something I can make a phone call about, I would totally just make a phone call about. But I don't know how formal the like, you know, are we talking Godfather levels of like family organization, or is it more just like, hey, it's Uncle Googie, I'm gonna go give him a call?
I think we're still feeling out what the relationship here is. But I picture the Foxgloves as a collective, as on the formal side, right? They're basically, to some degree, they're the aristocracy of Salem, and they started out very much on the margins, but they've been responsible for creating some of the core civic elements of Veiled Salem. They're one of the centers of power because they have consistency across time in a way that a lot of the other groups don't. And he's the head of the operations. So I'm inclined to say it's a little bit more formal than just like drop by and don't take your shoes off when you walk in.
Right.
But if some kind of a phone call would probably be appropriate.
Okay.
Also, I don't know if we bring this to his attention outside of court, if he would have to recuse himself if he gets too involved in it.
Well, we don't have to connect it to Ishmael at this point.
I mean, he's my uncle. I would tell him about it.
You don't want to just ask him about the sigils independent of that?
Well, I mean, you got to know Fenton. He's a sharp cat. He's going to have questions, and he's my uncle. I'm not going to be weird about it. I guess when we get out of the sewers, I'll give him a call when we get some what do you call it? Signal.
Yep. It goes to voicemail.
Okay.
What is his voicemail like? His voicemail says it's very plain and professional. It's just, you've reached Fenton Foxglove. Please leave me a message.
Okay. Hey, Uncle Fenton. It's Jack. Listen, we came across, I don't know if you knew that we're part of the sanitation committee now. That thing that Sebastian talked about last meeting. Anyways, it's been a little while now that I'm talking, but in any case, there's some magical sigils that we came across in one of our investigations here for the sanitation committee, and I swear I've seen them around your house or something along those lines. I just wanted to ask you about them, see if you could give us any input. In any case, I think you're going to have a case tonight, and it might have something to do with that, but give me a call back. I might be taking a nap here real soon. Anyways, hope you're having a good day. Bye.
Perfect.
I think it's exactly that awkward. I think that's great. All right. Good. I think we'll probably button things up here on the assumption that the people who need sleep will get their downtime and will reconvene with all 5 players on the board come nightfall. Anybody else have anything they want to do or establish before that?
If we're all adjourning back to our homes for nightfall, I am going to have to... This can be something I discover off screen or whatever, but I am going to show the drawings I made of the sigils to whichever member of the Sistren would be best aware of it.
Okay, cool. So you all are going to part ways to do what you do during the day, and we'll follow Mother McCree just back to the huts, right? I mean, that's where she's going.
I mean, they're all neighbors essentially. So
yeah. Marigold Childress Smythe is, so in some sense, Mother McCree is the leader of the Sistren without really wanting to be, just because she has seniority.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
It's a weird situation where where she is the senior most member of this coven by a vast margin.
Right.
But she also exercises zero authority.
Exactly. You got it. 100%.
So it creates a little bit of a power vacuum. And so Marigold Childress Smythe is sort of the person who acts as the leader of the coven, even though she's not technically the leader of the coven.
Okay.
And I assume that Mother McCree has some. I mean, she doesn't care about things. It doesn't mean she's incapable of perceiving things, right?
Exactly.
So
exactly.
She has some awareness of that.
Right. When Mother McCree acts up or acts, it always is a surprise to everyone. But they're usually in the coven. They're usually, duly respecting her position, but they just don't expect her to do things. So they've kind of been doing stuff on their own. This whole her joining the sanitation commission is hit them all for a loop.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So it makes sense to go to Marigold, is my point. So, she knocks on the door of the hut. She's there. Marigold's always a little bit confused when Mother McCree does something active in relationship to anybody in the coven, but she's like,
right.
Okay. Mother McCree, it's good to see you. So exchange greetings. Mother McCree sort of doesn't beat around the bush here, right? She just gets right to the point.
Right. No. She's good to see you, dearie. Here, I have these sigils I've found. I'm wondering if you know anything about them. They look familiar, but you know these things better than I do.
She looks at the paper and her face gets a little bit pale. And she looks up and says, Mother, this is the chimeric script. This is what they found in the old hut. In the floor, the book, the nameless book, this is that.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's just fine.
All right. Do you need any help?
Do you know what the symbols mean?
Well, no, I don't think anyone does.
Well, very good then. That's all I need. Thank you very much, dear. She just walks out.
Leaves...
leaving her as bewildered as possible.
Yet another bizarre interaction with Mother McCree, basically. All right, that's a good place to close it.
Yeah.
We got that established. All right, thank you, friends.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Good game.
That's it this week for The Chimera. Our theme music this season is Down Among the Dead Men, performed by Adrienne Howard, Emily Peterson, and Dirk I. Tiede. For information on other music used in this episode, check the show notes. You can support The Chimera by going to patreon.com/chimerapod. Patrons at any amount get access to behind-the-scenes setting and system info, art polls, and exclusive side games and one-shots. You can also find us online at thechimera.space or on Twitter and Facebook at ChimeraPod. We'll be back in 2 weeks with a new episode, so until then, thanks for listening.
Now I'm recording on this thing. Levels look okay. I'm finishing the last of my crackers before we start the game.